Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the GMRS 1900 TechNet. It's August 22nd, 2023, and this is Mike, WQYP827, and I will be your net control for the evening. The GMRS 1900 TechNet is a directed net where we discuss matters relating to GMRS and various other topics. While a directed net is in operation, all radio traffic must go through net control. Just as a reminder, the first and third Tuesday of each month will be the 1900 net as we have always conducted it with the normal pre-registration and check-in process. And on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, we'll now have the 1900 TechNet where there will be no pre-registration or check-in process. On months with a fifth Tuesday, there will be no 1900 net, and that will occur next week. There will be no 1900 net at that point. Just a reminder, if you should have any emergency or priority traffic during the net, you are always free to break in at any time. And stand by just one. I just want to remind everybody of our upcoming general and board meeting, which will be on September 9th. And it will be over at the Denny's at 5122 West Thunderbird Road. And so check the event calendar on our website. And if you're going to be there, please just do a sign up and let us know how many people will be there. Also, keep in mind our West Side members get together at Barrow's Pizza is also on September 19th. Well, good evening again. Welcome to the 1900 TechNet. I'm going to open it up for any tech questions or discussions regarding GMRS, a two-way radio, and please respond one at a time with your full call sign or call sign suffix. And once I've acknowledged the caller, you may state your question and we'll ask for comments. All traffic must go through net control, and after each question has been answered, the original caller must clear with their full FCC call sign.
772.
772, good evening. What do you got?
Just looking for a little clarification. The West Side Barrow's Pizza, what was the date in September for that?
That is on September 19th at 11 a.m., and it is currently at the Barrow's Pizza at 51st Avenue and Bell Road.
So it's on a Tuesday?
You got me on that one. Stand by. Nope, you're right. It's September 16th. The board meeting and general meeting is on September 9th, and the member get-together is September 16th. My apology.
All right, not a problem. Thank you, sir. WRKJ 772.
Oh, good clarification. Thank you much for that, Rich. All right, anybody got any topics for discussion or comments? Come on in. 725. 725, good evening.
I had a question about the Shaw Butte repeater and the reasoning for not having any tones on the receive end. I get a lot of simplex traffic over here, so sometimes it can be kind of difficult. I know the club repeater on White Tanks has got an output tone, but what's the reasoning in not having an output tone on Shaw Butte, and I guess for any repeater that might not have an output tone?
Okay, that's an excellent question, and just keep in mind the Shaw Butte 725 is not one of our repeaters. We were just allowed to use it. That one belongs to Chris Saget of CMC Communications. And my understanding is the biggest reason he did not put any tones on the receive, or those output tones, is people were stepping on top of each other because they were not using the proper monitor mode before they started talking. So he opted just not to put any tones on them at all.
I guess that makes sense. I appreciate the clarification. WR 725 back to net control. Thanks for holding it, Mike.
No problem at all, and that's a great question. Many people have asked it. Yeah, you're right. The downside is if you're in an area and you're trying to listen to it, and you've got a lot of local FRS radios, it does cause a problem. But it does solve the problem with people not monitoring like they're supposed to and talking over the top of somebody. Good question, and thank you for being out there tonight. Who's up next? Come on in. 361. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thanks for taking the net. I have a quick question for all the hams. Studying up to take my tech exam here in about a week or so, and I was just curious on those that have their license, which they prefer, the in-person exams or doing the test virtual instead, and why, if they don't mind. WRX on D61.
That's a pretty good question. Any comments out there? Come on back.
725.
725, go ahead.
I did it online. Just simply, it's easier to, not have to go around. It's a lot easier to find a test to proctor it. The other reason that I think was easier, the prep place that I was using, which was hamprep.org, I believe, offhand. It's just very similar because after going through the questions and using the online test system, when you take the test online, it's basically the same thing. So it's just real familiar, and just the transition between practice and test was seamless. So for me, that just made it super easy. WR 725 back to net control.
725, thank you very much, and that makes a whole lot of sense. Any other comments regarding this? Come on in.
60.
Good evening, Bubba. What do you got?
We recommend going to your local ham club because it's not just taking the test, but the people that you will meet and that will help you along your way. And that is an amazing advantage. And that's just my point on it. And this WRPY 760 back to net control.
All right, Bubba. Also a good point. Different point of view, but that's what he's looking for. Any other comments before we change topic?
42.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I'm going to be nice about this. I agree with Bubba, but my experience when I went and done mine, I'm not going to name the name of the club. I was completely turned off the radio by the way I was treated and ignored, and I went there to meet people, and they didn't want to talk to me at all. So, yeah, not all groups are that way, but that's my experience with it. So, WQWR 942.
All right, uncalled for. We're looking for individual comments. That's what it's about tonight, and that just let it go at that. Thank you, Chris. Any other comments before we change the topic?
Check, please.
Bubba, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, yeah, Chris is probably absolutely right. I just fell into a good club, but there's bad ones out there and there's good ones out there. You got to do your research, and I just figured the more people there to help you, the better, but it just didn't work that way in Chris's deal. And that's okay, too, because there's good ones and bad ones. WRPY 760, back to net control.
Bubba, thank you very much for that one. I would personally vote for the online. I would just feel more comfortable doing that myself. But there was one other commenter out there. Come on in. Well, actually, that's a very good testament right there. And yeah, who would not want to go if they're going to take a tech license, or why would they not want to go up in the Flagstaff area and look up there and get the test and spend a few days? That'd be a good idea. 347, thank you very much for that. 361, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. I appreciate everybody here. That was fast. XR361 back to net control.
All right, 361. Yeah, we got most of that, and then it filled with static. Let us know in a week or so when you get the test what your experience was one way or the other. Appreciate you being out there tonight. Next topic, who's got one? Come on in.
520.
520. Good morning. Or, no, it's not morning. Good evening.
With the net, I'd like to take just a few seconds to review about using a repeater and taking the pause.
Go ahead and throw it out there.
Thank you very much. Just as a reminder, we have a lot of new people in the club, and maybe this is your first time of using a repeater. So part of our job is to help you understand how to do this more seamlessly and have an enjoyable experience. So we have a couple of things we'd like to share with you, and that's, first of all, you want to listen for about 10 seconds to be sure that no one else is using the repeater. The second thing you want to do is take a 1-second pause after pressing your push-to-talk button and before speaking, and this avoids from cutting other people off and not everybody hearing your audio. Next, we'd like you to wait 2 seconds before responding back to somebody during a radio conversation. And this allows repeaters and links, like on Zello, to do their job and switch in and switch out so that your transmission is clearly heard as well as everyone else's. So just take the pause, think of 10, 1, 2, and you're going to have a more enjoyable experience on the air. WRKJ 520 back to net. Thank you.
Keith, thank you very much. Really good information. When you apply that, I've heard it on some of the national nets and some of the regional nets, and they can be an absolute disaster trying to get into those sometimes. So 520, appreciate that, and have a great evening. The next topic, come on in. And we got crickets all of a sudden. I know there's people out there. 710, you out there with anything?
We're waiting for 10 seconds.
All right, wasn't sure if that was local traffic. Was there somebody out there trying to get in? Okay, this could be one of our shortest nets of all time. Anybody have anything? If not, we're going to close her up then. This is your chance to get those questions answered. 361, go ahead.
It's a little less staticky. I moved around in the backyard, so I do apologize for that. One more quick question for everybody, and again, preparing for when I can use it. GMR. Using a hotspot versus not using a hotspot and just hitting the repeater off the radio. I've heard a lot of people mainly use hotspots. Is there a reason for that due to like coverage and everything else, or is it just their matter of preference? WRXR361.
Okay, I'm just going to take a guess at this one, and my guess is using the hotspot is going to be for those that can't get into the repeater directly. Any DMR people out there want to take a stab at this one?
Five.
Go right ahead.
I've had a little experience with the DMR, and there's not a whole lot of repeaters in the valley. So you may not, if you do a search on repeaterbook.com, you can click the button for just showing DMR repeaters, and you might not find a whole lot of them near you. So it may not just be accessible to you. And so that's another reason why you would want to use a hotspot, so that you're just, no matter where you're at, you can get into the DMR network. Also, if you've got any issues with if you want to put up a mobile station, or rather a base station, if you have the homeowners association may not allow you to put up an antenna, so that's why a lot of people use the hotspot as well too, so that they can just avoid any issues with their homeowners association. WR 725 back to net control.
725, thank you very much. Good explanation. Or actually, yeah. Anybody else want to comment? All right, 361, that answer your question. Pretty much what I thought too. It's going to be where you use a hotspot where you can't access the repeater, obviously.
What I was thinking, and I was just wanting to back up what I was thinking on that. I appreciate it. I do have other questions, but I'll wait for next so we can get out of here early. I do appreciate the time. Back to net control, WRXR361.
Well, it's not like I'm in a hurry. I've got plenty of time. We do not have an ESG net tonight. Gary's a little under the weather, so no ESG net at 8 o'clock. So we got plenty of time. So anybody else, any other questions, come on in.
Nobody else jumps in, I'll ask my other one, 361.
361, go ahead and throw it out there.
Hurry, everybody. One other question. For scanner side, I've used a discone antenna in the past for that. Great coverage for all bands, everything else. For those of us who live in dead spot areas, I have a hard time even hitting 550 alpha from where I'm at over here off of like I-17 and Jomax area. And for those of us, somebody else mentioned it, that live in the glorious HOAs, a discone antenna you can get away with no matter what because of the frequency coverage and what it can pick up. Anybody stopped and or ever used a discone for a base antenna when they have coverage issues like I do? WRXR361.
Oh, 772, are you out there?
Yes, they are. So I do have a discone. Actually, I got 3 discones up my attic. And if you're in an HOA, the attic antenna is probably going to be your best bet if you can't get anything outside. But if you can get something up and outside, it'll probably work even better than a discone. But yeah, the discone is going to be your best bet for just about everything, and it works pretty much everywhere. WRKJ 772.
Thank you, Rich. I figured that'd be right up your alley. 361, I was just curious. You said you're having problems hearing 550 at I-17 and Jomax or I-10 and Jomax?
I can hear 550 from where I'm at. It's just, and I can hear a lot of repeaters from where I'm at. 575, Tower 600, etc. It's just getting to the repeater from where I'm at. Unless I'm standing outside like I am now or upstairs, I have a blade antenna for GMRS next to a window that lets me hit just about every repeater around here. But I was just curious on the discone if I wanted to put one outside, if that would work or not, with it being such a broad spectrum use of frequencies, if that makes sense. WRXR 361, and that is I-17 and GMRS.
Well, obviously, anything that you could put outside. I'm in an HOA also, and I started out. I've got one on a little patio area on the side of my house, and I just put one of them small eave mounts up with a tram NMO mount with a mobile antenna on it, and HOA has never said anything about it. Actually, if you don't know it's there, you never see it. So there's ways to get some out there. Yeah, 361 HOAs, that's a whole topic all in itself when you really get down to it. How do you get by with those and what antennas that you actually can put up. In fact, some of the HOAs over here on the west side, such as Sun City Grand or the Grand, whatever they want to call it, have actually recently revised some of their HOA rules, now allowing antennas on the back parts of the houses.
And that's what I was going to reach out to our HOA here and just see if that's something they have revised or not for the back part of the house over here in Dynamite Mountain Ranch. So I appreciate the time, appreciate all the input, great answers to hopefully some good questions this evening. Everybody have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you guys next time. WRXR 361, back to Net Control. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and I think I got that right. WRXR 361?
USL.
Okay, if I can find the email, I should still have it. Somebody sent me a copy of the Sun City Grand policy for antennas. I'll send it over to you. Give you an example that maybe you can take to your HOA.
That would be gratefully appreciated, sir. As you know, with HOAs, like you said, that's a conversation all in itself, and anything to show them would be gratefully appreciated. WRXR 361, back to net.
No problem, and thanks for all the questions. Hope you got them answered. All right, it is almost 7:30. Any other topics? Come on in.
Uh, 513.
513, good evening.
How you doing, everybody? A simple question, really. I was just curious, did the whole bringing the 625 into our repeater network fall through? I haven't heard anything on that lately.
I'll have to get with 942 on that. He was the one working with that. I'm not sure where that's at, to be honest with you. Kind of been out of the loop here for the last few weeks due to some health issues.
Gotcha, okay. If I hear Chris, I can ping him on that, too. Not a problem. WRJF 513, back to net.
Thank you much, and good to hear you out there. All right, any other topics before we close it up for the night? Come on in.
Zero.
All right, all I got was 20.
520.
There you go. Go ahead.
I just want to give a shout out to our webmaster on a great job that he's done so far in building that website back out. And for those who haven't gone into that website as members and checked out the scanner feature, that's a pretty awesome thing that's there. Very powerful and something that can really extend your reach as far as being able to hear what's going on. So hats off to 942. Appreciate all the hard work that you put into that, and we know that there's more coming. WRKJ 520, back to the net.
520. Thank you much for that, and I wholeheartedly second that opinion. That scanner feature I use almost every single day. There's specific things I want to listen to, and having it right here on the desktop makes it so simple. Thank you much for that one. Anybody else? Come on in before we close her up. All righty, it's all quiet out there, so I want to thank everybody who did participate tonight's net. Again, no 1900 net next week. However, there will be an ESG net, but no ESG net this evening at 8 p.m. Wishing Gary well, a little under the weather, so hope he's recovering well. Just want to thank everybody who checked in and participated. Hope to hear you all back here next week. Special thanks going out to WPRR 517 for hosting the Phoenix High Power 550 repeater, as well as Scottsdale 700. This is WQYP827 Net Control, GMRS 1900 Net. We're returning the repeater to its normal operation. Everybody have a great week and a great weekend.
Thank you, Mike, for running the net tonight, and this is WRPY 760.
Hey, Bubba. Good to hear you out there as always. Yeah, been a little out of things lately. Hey, one day we ought to take a ride up and go up and spend the